Thanks for joining us. We begin tonight with some breaking news in the NBA draft. It has been a huge night for the Timberwolves, landing the #1 pick, but then, about a half hour ago, a huge twist involving hometown standout Tyus Jones. Dave Schwartz is live to explain how it all went down and how Tyus is now a member of the Wolves. Hi, Dave.
Yeah, and ironically enough, Julie, they made another deal with Cleveland. Who would have thought that would have happened, considering the deal they made last year, bringing Andrew Wiggins here, Kevin Love going there. But yeah, as Tyus Jones fell deeper and deeper into the first round, it seemed more apparent that the Timberwolves could make a move, and they do. At 24, Cleveland picks him, and then the Timberwolves trade their 2 second-round picks, 31 and 36, and a second-rounder in 2019 to Cleveland in exchange for Tyus Jones. He is now a Minnesota Timberwolf, in addition to Karl Anthony Towns, who they picked up with the first overall pick. Now, Flip Saunders cannot talk about Tyus Jones because the trade is not finalized yet with the league, but he is at the podium right now talking about Karl Anthony Towns, and we'll take that live right now in progress.
So you get a chance to put your hands on him, show him the things that you want to do, both offensively and defensively, and see how they react to coaching. Challenge them. I try to do a lot of stuff where I want them to kind of play out of the box, as far as in workouts. I'll say this, outside of maybe, and I hate to put comparisons, but Kevin Garnett in '95, he probably had maybe, probably the most impressive workout, individual workout that we've had, just because of his, and it's everything. He plays with a great amount of passion, plays really hard, multi-skilled. When you guys get in here and you see him warming up and you see him going through ball handling drills, you're going to think that we drafted a point guard rather than a center forward type. So, like I said, after that time, we were extremely comfortable, and we knew that the process we went through, brought us to the right decision.
So Flip Saunders confirming pretty much what we all knew, that they were going to take Karl Anthony Towns the whole time because he's just too much of a good talent not to take, and they do that with the first overall pick. But what a perfect scenario. They end up getting the hometown kid, Tyus Jones, tonight. I mean, at the beginning of the night, I don't think a lot of people thought this would have happened, including Tyus, who you saw tonight at his draft party, Jen.
Well, let's talk about the beginning of the night. You guys told me when you brought me into sports this afternoon, well, the one thing that's not going to happen is the Wolves trading for Tyus Jones. It was the big joke. So don't worry about that, Jana. That's the only thing you have to worry about. Well, a half an hour ago, that's exactly what happened. But we were at the 508 Club in downtown. That's where Tyus Jones was having his draft party, not knowing about any of this. But just within the last 45 minutes, he gets that fateful phone call. The whispers start to happen that the Wolves might have traded for him, and it's announced to the crowd as you're seeing that moment right there. Tyus flanked by his brothers, by his mother, his father, his aunt, his uncle, his aunties, his grandmother was there, all of his high school friends. It was a really special moment for Tyus, and he really wanted to have his draft party here in Minnesota. He didn't want to be at the Barclays Center in New York waiting like many other players in the first round do. He wanted to be surrounded by friends and family, and who could have scripted a better story for Tyus? Surrounded by friends and family, he's welcomed by the hometown NBA team to start his storied career here. Here's what Tyus had to say about playing in Minnesota.
To be able to play for your hometown team, there's nothing like it. I have all the support here with my family, my friends. The state support has always been great ever since I was an 8th grader, and that's part of the reason why I wanted to stay here to experience this moment. No matter.
The emotion of watching a player go through the draft, something I've obviously never seen before, but you could see him smiling, you could see him hopeful, and then when this moment happened and he got that Timberwolves hat, Dave, he put it on and he started to tear up, and you could see his grandmother on the phone trying to call all the relatives, trying to explain to them that Tyus is staying home.
Imagine this, and think about this for a second. Tyus Jones is now going to get a chance to learn from Kevin Garnett. He wasn't even born when the Timberwolves drafted Kevin Garnett.
In the last 40 minutes, my mind's already been blown, so please stop doing it.
A lot of people, honestly, a lot of Timberwolves fans' minds have been blown tonight. But let's go back to the beginning when they selected Karl Anthony Towns with the #1 overall pick. Not a big surprise, but the big cat is on his way to the Twin Cities.
With the first pick in the 2015 NBA Draft, the Minnesota Timberwolves select Karl Anthony Towns from the
Well, Karl Anthony Towns, the big man from Kentucky, he can shoot, he can defend, he is a developing talent, and he was, by all accounts, the one and overall really can't-miss pick for the Timberwolves, and they don't. They take him just as everyone expected that they would, and it was the right pick for them. Target Center knew it was coming. They knew it, they anticipated it, but still, when they heard the name, they went crazy down at the Target Center tonight. Big, strong, defensive, SEC Freshman of the Year, all first-team SEC. He is all things that the Wolves needed, and they got him. Fans are pumped about the Timberwolves and their pick, but what about Karl Anthony Towns himself? Dylan Wallenhouse had a chance to catch up with Karl Anthony Towns tonight from Brooklyn, and he is back in Golden Valley with more. Hey, Dylan.
Well, hey, Dave. Yeah, this is clearly a kid who is excited to come and play here and play according to his former coach at Kentucky, John Calipari. He has no ego, and that's reportedly what, among many things, the Wolves liked so much about this kid. Well, first of all, welcome and congratulations. Welcome to Minnesota.
Thank you so much.
Take us through that moment. What was it like when they called your name? What were you feeling?
I was extremely excited, jubilant. I couldn't believe that after all this time, all these years you play basketball, you just are trying to possibly be in the NBA. Not only did I make the draft, but I was blessed and honored and privileged to be the #1 pick.
You told Men's Health today that you had a dream last night that you were in the NBA Finals. Tell me about that that dream.
I told him, you see the finals so much. I had a dream about the finals. I was dribbling the basketball. I must have been bleeding because, like I said, I was leaking blood from my face. But it just shows you that it must have meant that all the hard work to get to that part. If you want to be in the finals, you got to put a lot of blood, sweat, and tears into the gym.
I mean, anything that you feel that maybe you need to work on when you get here to the pro level? I mean, anything that maybe you need to tweak or change at all?
I feel that I just need to keep working on my game and work on all aspects. Become the best player I could possibly be and stay as sharp as possible so I can contribute as much to the T-Wolves as much as possible.
Do you feel at all that there is that pressure of maybe feeling like you need to have instant success in the NBA?
No, I feel very good. I feel very confident. I'm extremely excited right now for what's about to happen and what the journey I'm about to embark on.
What's the one non-basketball thing that you want to do here when you get into Minnesota?
You know what? I want to find a golf course and I want to play. I love golf, and it's the one thing that always is a relaxing thing for me. So definitely go out to Minnesota and golf.
Hey, we got a golf course across the street from KARE 11, our studios. You're welcome anytime.
I love it. I love it.
Thanks for joining us, and good luck and safe travels here to Minnesota tomorrow.
Thank you so much.
You heard it there. He'll be back in Minnesota tomorrow to address the media. And I did ask him a few more questions about if he's nervous at all coming up to the NBA and what he envisions for this year. I'll be answering some of your questions on our KARE 11 Facebook page right after this, so log on and ask away. For now, we're going to send it back to Dave, downtown Minneapolis.
Well, the first thing I want to know is, Dylan, did you manage to get yourself a golf game out of this with Karl Anthony Towns and play a little golf across the street? That ought to be pretty good to watch. What a great night. What an exciting night here for the Timberwolves. For once, for the first time in a long time, the stars all aligned. They get the first-round pick. They get the hometown boy. We'll talk a lot about this and more coming up in sports. Julie, for now, we'll send it back to you.
Hey, great job by you, Jana and Dylan. What an exciting night. We'll see you again soon. Thanks, Dave. Well, now to an update on a story we first told you about earlier this month. The World War II vet wants to leave the VA nursing home he is currently in Minneapolis for a facility in California to be closer to family. But his family claimed California officials were standing in the way until tonight. Jay Olstead joins us now with an update. Jay?
Yeah, Julie, after weeks of waiting, George Vandersluis is officially on the waiting list to get into the Fresno VA facility, which is exactly what his family wanted. Vandersluis moved back to his hometown of Minneapolis to be close to his sister about 8 years ago after there wasn't a VA facility in Fresno. Now there is, and with his older sister passing away recently, he wanted to go live in that new facility back in Fresno, but under California rules, he had to be a resident there for 6 months, despite the fact that he raised his family in Fresno and all of his bills are paid from there. Now, according to family, California has relented.
I told him from the beginning I was going to continue my crusade, and I'm going to talk to everybody I can about trying to get through all these loopholes to get him in there.
And when we originally contacted the California VA, officials said they had no record of Vandersloot's application, but the family said they were told not to even apply because he wasn't a California resident. They obviously have applied now. They don't know how long Vandersloot will have to be on the waiting list, but either way, they're glad he's on it. So for now, stay tuned, Julie.
All right, thanks for the update, Jay. New tonight, we're watching a developing story, a house fire on Woodland Drive in Lino Lakes. The Anoka County Sheriff's Office says a car in the garage caught fire and those flames spread to the house. We're told no one was hurt. The extent of the damage isn't yet known. Charges could come as soon as tomorrow against a driver accused of driving drunk right into a pedal pub. 12 people were hurt. 3 of them are still hospitalized tonight. The driver was booked on DWI and criminal vehicular injury charges. A new twist now in the clergy sex abuse scandal. Lawyers for the Archdiocese of St. Paul and Minneapolis say criminal charges could keep them from paying the victims of clergy abuse through an insurance policy. The suit alleges the Archdiocese neglected to keep victims safe from a former priest. Now, a U of M law professor says the Archdiocese knew about the priest, and most insurance companies do not cover intentional criminal acts. Well, Hennepin County Child Protection Services is expected to get a big staffing boost next month, but county commissioners are learning a staff shortage is certainly not the only problem facing that agency. Commissioners met with the authors of a study that compared Hennepin County CPS to other counties nationwide. They say the rate of kids experiencing repeat maltreatment is higher here than anywhere else. Hennepin County also screens out more reports without investigating them. Commissioners say it proves more needs to be done than simply beefing up the staff.
We need to own this problem. This is a fundamental responsibility that the county has, taking care of vulnerable children.
County commissioners gave initial approval to the hiring of 98 additional staff for CPS. That is expected to be formally approved next month. Still ahead here at 10, a popular Twin Cities bar and restaurant closes its doors. Tonight, state records reveal clues about the sudden shutdown. And a dedicated group searches for a break in the cold case disappearance of Jodi Hewson. Belle?
Well, a gorgeous day today and the weekend looking pretty decent. A couple of changes with the timing, and of course it's Thursday night, so we'll have your cabin cast. Here's your Friday, just to give you a little snapshot. It's looking good. Temperatures will be back in the 80s tomorrow afternoon. We'll have all the details through next week coming up.
Well, it has been 20 years since Jodi Hewson disappeared. The native of Long Prairie was leaving for work at a TV station in Mason City, Iowa, early on the morning of June 27, 1995. Hewson has not been seen since. She was 27 at the time of her disappearance. Thousands of tips have gone nowhere, but investigators hope with this anniversary, new leads will emerge. Here's KARE 11's Lindsay Sievert.
It's back to square one in the desperate search for 2 missing South Carolina toddlers.
It didn't matter whether you knew her only through the camera or up close. 20 years still brings Minnesotans back to the beginning of missing Jodi.
Just as Jacob Wetterling defined how we raised our children, I think Jodi Hewson very much affected a generation of television journalists.
Former WCCO reporter Caroline Lowe investigated many leads in the Mason City morning anchor's disappearance. Jodi's picture still sits on her desk in a California newsroom today.
Look at all the pinholes in that folder. It's all the different times it's been moved from one desk at CCO to another to California. But you look at it and you think, okay, what am I missing?
So Lowe is taking her commitment a step further, now getting her private investigator's license to dig deeper into cold cases. And Jodi's tops her list.
I think we all feel a calling to stay with us.
So this Saturday, on the anniversary of her disappearance, dozens will gather outside Jodi's old apartment and walk a mile to her TV station to symbolize the journey she never completed.
We keep thinking about how hellish it is for the family or any family of a missing person to never know what happened to that person. I I mean, I can't imagine anything that's worse than death, I think.
The FindJodi.com team organized the walk. Florida TV anchor Josh Benson founded the organization after reporting on Jodi's case.
I mean, we use the site as a tool to bring in leads.
The team knows anniversaries often unearth leads or revive old ones.
We felt that Jackson should be looked at.
Now retired Woodbury detective Jay Alberio.
This is what it really is chilling.
Hopes Mason City Police will take a second look at a man he once arrested.
You need to go back and you need to review every report, every interview that was done.
He's focused on imprisoned serial rapist Tony Jackson, who lived in Mason City but claimed he never knew Jodi. An acquaintance of Jackson has now come forward.
Is this individual that actually had gone to the Southbridge Lounge bar with Tony Jackson, and Tony had walked in and met Jodi Hewson. And law enforcement in Mason City had said that Tony Jackson was ruled out, there was no connection.
Mason City Police say they'll follow this in all credible leads, whether it opens the door again to Jackson or anyone else. But most of all, those committed to Jodi want the spotlight to shine brightest in her memory.
I just hope people remember.
Lindsay Sievert, KARE 11 News.
The Walk for Jodi Finishing the Journey is open to the public. More than 100 people are expected already. It begins at 10 a.m. Saturday at a church, as Lindsay mentioned, across from her former apartment. We have details on KARE11.com. Let's head outside now. 74 degrees still in the backyard. How beautiful. Hi, Belle.
Well, hi, Julie. It's 74 degrees. The sun setting, of course, at 9:03, these longest days of summer. Let's take a look at our cabin cast. We have a gorgeous picture, and we'd love to see your pictures as well if you want to send them to Laura Betker or me. We could love to see those on our Facebook page, and we'll share them. This is Clear Lake and Forest Lake, and Bob and Marilis Holt took this shot of this beautiful crane there on their dock. And here's your cabin cast for this last weekend of June. I can't believe that I'm even saying that, but that's where we're at. 82 tomorrow in the Twin Cities, Lake Minnetonka, Prior Lake, all the lakes here in the Twin Cities, White Bear Lake. And then Saturday night through Sunday morning, there's a chance of some showers and thunderstorms. And that's the change up. All week long, it looked like the storms were going to be Sunday night. Looks now like they'll be Saturday night through Sunday morning and then clearing. We'll talk more about that in a minute. As we get up to Detroit Lakes and the beautiful part of western Minnesota, we do expect the thunderstorms to be earlier there and then clearing, and most of Sunday will be nice. We get down to Brainerd and Lake Mille Lacs and McGregor, and it looks as though it'll be 82 with a few scattered thunderstorms in the afternoon and then a spotty leftover lingering shower on Sunday. But Sunday does look like the drier of the 2 days. We get to the North Shore, and we do expect it to be spotty thunder on Saturday, but pretty wet on Sunday. 72 degrees on Sunday across the region. Now we get down into Wisconsin, and Saturday's looking gorgeous, 80 degrees. But then Saturday night through Sunday, there will be thunderstorms, and the best chance of thunderstorms in Wisconsin from, of course, Hayward down to Luck and Balsam Lake will be on Sunday and then clearing. So tonight we have a couple of spotty storms that are producing a little bit of lightning up to our north, but they are falling apart as we speak, and they'll be just drifting through the northern part of the state overnight, giving them a little bit of rain. You see, tomorrow we're talking about spotty shower activity. So most of Friday is dry, plenty of sunshine. We'll top out at 80 degrees, but we could have an afternoon pop-up shower that could interrupt your day. Here's your 7-day, 80 degrees with those brief afternoon showers. And let's talk about Saturday and Sunday. Here's the timing. We expect storms to move in overnight on Saturday during the day, looking great, 80 degrees. And then Sunday, a few of those thunderstorms do linger. Not a washout, but there could be a few interruptions. And I know there's so much that goes on these weekends of summer with graduation parties and weddings and gatherings that I know each and every hour does count. So we watch the clock here, and you get to 3 o'clock on Saturday, and we're talking about the slight chance of a spotty thunderstorm. But the best chance is midnight Saturday night. There's the line of storms, and they move through by 8 a.m. and then they move out, but then there could be some spotty redevelopment. And you can see that the best chance of that will be in Wisconsin on Sunday. And there it is. Next week, we move into July as we get to the middle of the week, which is pretty remarkable in itself. And we do expect to see a few rounds of thunderstorms next week as well, with temperatures remaining pretty much in the 80s, Julie.
You know I love it.
Not too bad.
I love it. I love it. Thank you, Belle.
All right.
Well, St. Louis Park Bar has closed its doors. Toby Keith's I Love This Bar and Grill at the West End pulled its Facebook page and is no longer listed on the chain's website. The business was on a Minnesota Department of Revenue list that names those who are delinquent in paying their liquor taxes. There is no word on what might replace it. Well, coming up in sports, a new future for the Minnesota Timberwolves with tonight's #1 pick and a hometown standout. Dave is back live from Mayo Clinic Square in a moment.
KARE 11 Sports from the Mayo Clinic Sports Medicine Sports Desk.
Hi, everybody. Welcome back. What a perfect night for the Minnesota Timberwolves. Really, the stars aligned for them in the NBA draft. They get the #1 overall pick and get the guy they wanted, and they have the opportunity to trade back into the first round and get the local star, Tyus Jones, from Apple Valley. How did this all occur? Well, a couple of trades did happen in the night, but let's start with Karl Anthony Towns, the overall pick from Kentucky that they pick #1. Then Tyus Jones falls. He becomes more attainable. They package their 2 second-round picks to move up to 24 and trade with Cleveland to get him. It literally couldn't have worked out any better for the Timberwolves or their draft picks. Flip Saunders pretty excited after the end of all this tonight.
And I hate to put comparisons, but Kevin Garnett in '95, he probably had maybe probably the most impressive workout, individual workout that we've had, just because of his. And it's everything. He plays with a great amount of passion, plays really hard, multi-skilled. When you guys get in here and you see him warming up and you see him going through ball handling drills, you're going to think that we drafted a point guard rather than a center forward type.
Flip talking about Karl Anthony Towns there. He was not able to discuss Tyus Jones tonight because the trade was not finalized with the league, although he will be a Minnesota Timberwolf. Switching gears now, let's talk about the Minnesota Lynx, who are out west tonight taking on Seattle. This one's still going on. A late start out in Seattle for the Lynx. Early first quarter, Lynx down 3. Lindsey Whalen gets loose off the baseline, hits a nice jumper. Score is just 4-5, the Storm up there. Early on in the second quarter, Lynx down 14. Sue Bird with a nice look, drains the long 2 to extend the lead to 16. Later on in the second, Minnesota still down 16. Lindsey Whalen, again, taking the contact, making the shot, heads to the line for the extra bucket as the Lynx cut the lead to 14. But right now, this one's still going on in progress out in Seattle. The Twins have an off day today, but they are still bringing up some players as they go ahead and bring up Alex Meyer. They call up the pitcher. He will hopefully make his debut tomorrow if they do call him in to relief. He was brought up from AAA Rochester. He's been playing pretty well, 3-3 with a 5.11 ERA for the Rochester Red Wings. That's going to do it. A lot of exciting things here tonight involving the Timberwolves and the NBA draft. Make sure to watch KARE 11 News Sunrise tomorrow morning for so much more on all things Timberwolves. That's going to do it for sports. KARE 11 News continues after this.
Welcome back, everybody. I love Thursdays in the summer. We've got Cabin Cast.
Yeah.
Looks
and
like
then
a great
go
weekend.
Wolves tonight. Amazing.
Isn't that exciting? You're such a Wolves fan.
Well, it's exciting. 80 tomorrow. Enjoy your Friday. We'll see you tomorrow night.